All right. So, welcome, ladies and gents, to a 1v1 game. You might recognize this very yellowish terrain, this open map. This is King of the Desert Arabia. And King of the Desert Arabia has been in our game for a couple months now. It's very aggressive, okay? In the blue, we have a teenager from Russia. He's 18 years old. You may have seen him on YouTube recently in the Wandering Warriors Cup. He's actually going to be up against Winchester soon. Winchester is basically his training partner and like kind of like a younger brother, older brother situation. Anyways, Dark's really good is the point, okay? Top 50 player. And then here you've got Viper. And I think you could also consider him in the top 50. I might need to go back to look at a few stats and maybe tournament victories. But I think it's fair to say Viper's top 50, maybe top 1. Top 1, top 50, same thing, okay? So I've been casting now for 7 years. And when I started casting, I didn't know many names, but I knew that Viper was the best player. So it's crazy to say 7 years ago, Viper was the best player and still probably is nowadays too. But anyways, so when I started casting, I cast a lot of Viper games and I was just mesmerized. And he was the only high-level player I knew. Over time, obviously, I got to know more. And now I'm very familiar with all of them. But anyways, then it progressed to a lot of big events. We'd cast the events. And then as my YouTube channel grew, what I really like to do was I like to find a unique civ and watch Viper play it. Because say what you want about his dominance in tournaments, I really think Viper is one of the most entertaining players to play ranked games because he doesn't super try hard, right? He puts himself in situations where he's at a disadvantage. He doesn't play it as he would in a tournament every time, and it just is crazy to see him try and come back. And so that is very much what we have here. I've had a lot of uploads over the years where it's him playing on various maps with various civs. Viper playing Teutons, Viper playing Italians, Viper doing this, Viper doing that. And to be honest, as I was growing my channel, maybe it's a little clickbaity too. Who knows? But just trust me. Pay attention to this because this is going to be a wild game. Dark is pushing in some zebras right now. And he's going to maybe do more of that. And we have two civs here that can very much be fast with their uptimes. Dark actually couldn't find a woodline to take. I can't wait till we see the back of this King of the Desert Arabia. But he couldn't find a proper woodline to take. So that's why he was chopping the stragglers. But when you think Khmer, you think good eco. And you think normally scout opening. And then maybe knights later on. When you think Lithuanians, you think a similar thing. They start with an extra 150 food. And then they also get +1 attack on their knights per relic later on. So it makes sense for them to go for some scouts. Looking at Viper's base, it's extremely open. You've got double pawns. You've even got a pond over here for Dark. But I think Dark could probably wall a little bit easier, right? Could probably wall this way. Nothing else to really talk about just yet, as players will probably go towards Feudal Age. They might have a difference in builds, but overall I expect some Feudal Age madness, and I'll be able to break it down for you. Just trust me, I know that people have busy lives, and I know people like to skip ahead and step away, and you've got to do stuff, but this is definitely one of those games that you're going to regret not watching in full, because it's absolute entertainment from, I can't say beginning to end, because maybe this hasn't been the best couple minutes just yet, but trust me. At the middle, moving forward, it gets insane. I'm with you as well in the top 100,000. Think about that, guys. If you're watching this, you're probably within the top 100,000 of Age of Empires players. Because I think there's only about... I don't know the single player data, but I would bet it's probably not over 100,000. So just do this for me. Load up an Age of Empires 2 game. Okay? Beat the easy AI. And if you can do that, you're top 100,000 in the world. And there's billions of people in the world. Think about how good you are. There's a little pep talk for anyone who needed a confidence boost today. Okay, so let's look at Viper scouting. Viper sees woodline number 1 and sees woodline number 2. This, especially when you're up against Khmer, could indicate a scout rush. 2 lumber camps normally means about 10 on wood. Khmer are good with scouts, so that's what Viper's probably thinking so far. Cough, cough, wink, wink, hint, hint. Viper's over here. And Viper's just gone 1 lumber camp. Viper hasn't made his barracks yet, which is very weird, actually. Oh, here he comes. Wait a second. Viper going to make this game interesting. Lithuanians do get cheap trash units, my friends. They do get cheap trash units. Or, sorry, excuse me. It's not cheap. It's fast, right? So Viper, with his very active scout, sees, okay, my opponent's going archer opening. And Dark, to start it all off, goes in for a villager kill. And he's going to get one, and he's going to get trapped. I told Viper at one point, and trust me, the rest of this game is going to continue. If that's anyone else, or especially me, I lose 2 villagers. I'm extremely tilted out of my mind. And then I probably run straight into archers. Anyways, told Viper afterwards, I enjoyed watching this game, but it made me disgusted. Because that should be 2 dead vills. Dark should be rewarded for that epic play. But instead, okay, just 1 villager down. Viper's villager goes back to work, and here's Viper on the front. Now, notably, Dark doesn't have a scout to know what's coming now. So if he sees this spearman, at this point, he might actually assume that something's here, but he doesn't know for certain. The great quick walls from Viper. Scout is now trapped. I don't think it'd be common to see 2 spears here unless there was also villagers building the archery range. And even if he didn't sense that, he now sees this, and he now sees skirms, and Dark is going to freak out and think, what do I do? So he decides to make a tower here. Keep in mind, if Viper's tower goes up, this could be 2 villagers killed for against Dark. But Dark is Khmer, so he can actually hop inside of houses. And being Khmer and having houses there really saved him. All right. So these villagers on the left are protected. The counter tower is there for Dark, and we have a little tower war. Now, Viper's got nothing at home, and over the years, I've talked about how if you go forward like this, you'll then have nothing in defense, and counterattacks are the best way to counter you. So it's not something you see too frequently nowadays, basically because players are too intelligent. Players are too smart, and they're too good at minimizing damage. It'd be very common for a player like Dark to just wall this out and then send 2 archers forward right now. But he doesn't have an archer over there yet. And so far, what he's decided to do, as he's going to take out this tower now, is he's decided to just go to stone and think about making more towers here. So this might just turn into him making towers, honestly. And Viper's also sealing some of this stone. And Viper just finished off the scout with his villagers. Everyone's safe. Everyone's happy. But it has been a messy start, right? No eco upgrades for either player. Viper's like, how are you going to counter me? Because I've got skirms and I've got spears, full trash units. And for now, Dark just kind of buying time. I think he's waiting till he can get the stone to make another tower. Still hasn't sent archers out. And okay, here we go. And Viper sees this, but this is what I was talking about, right? You wall out the pressure and then you send archers forward. And now, Viper's thanking AoE gods that skirmishers are faster with Lithuanians because he's got to chase that. And now we see a tower from Dark, which means all of Viper's pressure here is pretty much finished once the tower completes. But he could lose a Vill. Let's see if Dark saves him. He's got a lot to focus on right now. Okay, he loses him. He's probably microing here. And Viper's lost both of his skirms. So I think Viper was looking here. And I think Dark was maybe looking in the middle of the map. Viper just researched fletching, but did not have armor, and Viper now has no defense. No defense, and also no stone for a tower because he's walking this way to try and tower. However, hold on. This is random. He sees a Dark villager right there. Here he goes. Oh, God. I still, like... This has been messy. This has been fun so far to see Viper go for something unorthodox and see Dark defend it. But this is just a perfect game. The build-up is so nice. Because this is so far from what this game turns into, my friends. Dark does have fletching, so it'll take a few volleys to kill villagers. And I don't think Viper's tracked that army. He's looking for it, but he hasn't tracked it. And here come the archers, and oh, Viper's in trouble. Okay, he'll get the house walls down to buy himself some space and time. I think Dark must be microing over here at the moment. Yeah, because Dark didn't really focus fire or anything, but he is now. He's trying to. Kills that Vill on the farm. Eco KD's 2-1. Also making another tower here. Viper happy with his towers, but probably unhappy pretty soon because his towers are going to do very little. And Viper ends up clearing up the archers. Okay. So, I say the towers will do very little, because Dark can just rush this down again. There's nothing to stop Dark from just rushing this down. And Dark having 500 food probably should start to farm like crazy now. Remember, don't need drop-off points for their farmers, so you can just spam them endlessly. You're pretty well protected. And to the viewers here watching on the live stream, can you tell me how long you've been watching Age of Empires? How long you've been watching my content, roughly? Because at, I want to say 2017, 2018. Less so in 2018, but more so 2017 and before. There was a couple years span where it was very common to see towers all the time. And towers were stronger back then. They were cheaper back then. So there's different things to talk about. But anyways, so it would turn into a game like this, okay? And then the best unit when there's towers everywhere is knights. Because archers can't run underneath towers, but knights can run underneath towers. This is shaping up to play out quite well for both Khmer and Lithuanians, is my point, with a lot of knights running in and out of open ecos and underneath towers. That said, Viper's army killed way more than you'd ever expect, right? Skirmishers killing villagers, and Dark's got to make some scouts right now. Okay, so it doesn't look like anyone's been watching. Okay, there's a few people who have maybe been watching since the 2016, 2017 days. But this is very reminiscent of old games where you don't have full walls. Players take big risks and stay open at home. Just not something you would ever see from Viper nowadays if he was playing in a tourney, because there's risks to it, right? Cool. Now, it wasn't even man-at-arm tower, honestly. Like, the trash forward that Viper was doing was very common in Hun Wars. And I really would like to make a video where I talk about the eras of Age of Empires where people did certain things, but I've got other things on my list right now I've got to get on top of. So this is what Viper can see. And Viper kind of has the enemy surrounded, but also the enemy's protected at the same time. And Viper did see the stable, so I think Viper should sense at this point that scouts are going to come in. But look at this from Dark. He spotted the tower. God, this is so smart. Because he could have easily just killed the skirms, but then Viper would have known, and he would have protected these vills. But instead, Dark's going to take the villager. Viper tries to quick wall and fails. And now his scouts can always go take the skirms as well. That was really impressive from Dark, as he saves the archers. And now he just brings the scouts back. Also denied the tower from Viper there at 40%. And Viper does not see that, guys. Viper does not see that. No military control for Viper pretty soon. So he is chasing this villager. And Viper adds the spearmen, but Dark adds the archers outside the tower. That was so clutch. And now the spearmen are dead. And now the skirms are in trouble. And Viper's villagers are like, ah! And they're going to run home. I'm sure that's exactly what they sound like. And Viper doesn't even have a barracks at home, people. Like if he wants to fall back into spearman defense, it's already a kind of a problem because Dark has archers for the spearmen. But he doesn't even have the barracks at home. So he's just like, well, we have no control anymore. We're going to lose everything. Let's go up to the next stage, shall we? I like this from Dark. I think he's made enough scouts to deal with the skirms, obviously. The only thing I would say is maybe don't have all your scouts chasing. Maybe just have a few. He has to respect the fact there's a barracks there, though, and look at that micro. Whew. Great micro. He'll try and take out the spear. He'll take out the spear, and then he'll take out the skirms, and now the scouts come over. Let's look at Viper's base. Now, any sane person would pre-wall this, you know, like a minute ago. He's like, I'm fast, so I'll just pre-wall it now. Okay, this is fine. We're going to be real casual about this. Not like the enemy has army coming to our base or anything. Uptime super late. Again, very reminiscent of the old days. 24, 25-minute castle ages were very common. Things are a lot more streamlined nowadays. As Viper has the skirm in there, intentionally to kill the archers. That said, the villagers still are going to need to run. And because he doesn't have armor, that's a problem. And she's going to die. And Viper has to leave his gold now. So, guys, Dark has recouped stone. Dark is starting to stonewall. He knows Viper's going to be all in. He feels like he's ahead of Viper right now. But he will be later to Castle Age. So this 18-year-old, a full decade younger than Viper, up-and-comer. He has thwarted Viper's attacks. And he's on the prowl. And he's going to try and get another villager kill, and he does. 6-3 eco KD. Viper's efficiency is totally off. And he's still got some problems that he has to deal with. Lithuanians get +1 attack on their knights per relic. I'm going to say it again because that is now the focus. Lithuanians get +1 attack on their knights per relic. Nice distraction from Viper. That's all Viper's going to sit out to do here. There are times where you try and recover. There are times where you just mass tons of military. That is going to be Viper's focus. He's got 1 stable for now. He's got the monastery already, and Dark will know this. And Dark is fully stonewalling. And Dark's got 1,000 food. He's got 300 golds. Viper, does he see the walls? He sees them here. Yeah, he sees them here. I personally really like the idea to stonewall. It shows a lot of respect to Viper, obviously, but Viper... There's a reason you should be terrified of him. I also really hope that he keeps his scouts active because he'll want to stop Viper from getting the relics. And those scouts could also kill villagers too. Like, these villagers could easily go down. Dark senses Viper's running around, so he even partially builds these walls and keeps the knights away. And now, Dark has insanely fast farms with insanely good civilization in the mid-game. He's getting his eco upgrades, and he actually has 3 stables. Here comes Viper for relic number 1. Let's look at Viper's scouting. So he sees that relic, and he sees this relic. Viper should never in a million years win this game. Never. The food eco for Dark is nuts. Dark's fully protected. Dark's going to 3 TCs, and Dark has the economy to produce out of all the stables. This is a game that Viper is so dead in. I was surprised he didn't even resign. I take it back. Obviously, he should play on a little bit longer. But it is such a good position for Dark. And he's doing a lot of the right things. He's getting light cav. He's also keeping an eye on this relic. And he's going to be getting more upgrades here. And he's making a gate, so he's going to escape. Viper's point of view, I kind of like it. I'm going to keep it on the relic count now. Viper's got 1 relic. And he does see this, so this is good for him. Archers don't mean much to him, but I guess Dark either patrolled this or wants to take this out. Dark now getting the 2nd farm upgrade. Dark will have 3 TCs. So, let's talk about fights for a second. Just in general, right? In Age of Empires, we talk a lot about cost-effective fights, right? And when you think cost-effectiveness, you think trash units typically because they don't cost gold. And gold is a finite resource in Age of Empires too. And with that, you think that you can spam trash units and beat gold units and win the game. It's not always like that, right? It's not always like that. It's a very complicated thing. But in general, the person who has better eco, or more eco in this case, as you see the light cav there, will take Viper's Monk. That's the player that can afford to take losses, right? So if you are behind in eco, your fights need to be so freaking good that somehow it makes up for how bad your eco is. And so for Viper, like, his eco is behind in efficiency, and it's only going to get worse right now as Dark is all over him. Viper's behind by 11 villagers. He's still taking losses. I believe he was focused on the fight here in the middle. Viper's got 2 relics right now, okay? 2 relics. Meanwhile, Dark has 3 town centers producing out of every single TC. He's got a 20 population lead, but a 15 villager lead. Eco KD is 14-3. Here goes the monk. Viper really wants that relic, and Dark continues to deny it. Man, such a good job from him. Look at him focus the vills and continue to move his armies around while also boom on his TCs. This is such a good game from Dark, who will have golden stone for the foreseeable future and basically can go in to finish the game from here, right? Right? He finishes the game here. This game's over. Viper quick walls. Okay. Not bad from Viper. And Dark does have to respect the fact that Viper's going to have a lot of attack. Viper actually researched his +2 attack, and then he's got an additional +2 from the relics. So this fight here, that's a good fight for Viper. This fight here, that's a good fight for Viper. And Dark has to think, yeah, okay, maybe that's not the fight for me. Probably the time to remind you guys that a knight can 1v1 a pikeman, okay? So if you're going to make pikemen, which is a trash unit, it's all about the fact they don't cost gold, and the fact that you can mass a lot of them due to that, okay? So Dark takes this fight. This is a really bad fight. And I know it's like, wow, okay. Bad fight for Dark. Shouldn't have taken that fight. 77 Vils versus 44. Dark is completely stonewalled. Can Viper have a chance here? Also, I think he lost another monk here. I could be wrong. But Viper is about to get relic number 3, which would mean his knights have 10 plus 5 attack. Good move from Dark to pull back. Now he's starting to get upgrades, okay? Now he's starting to add barracks. I'd say the only resource concern I see for Dark right now would probably be wood. He still has wood, but he could overchop his wood lines. And he's kind of walled between all of his wood lines. In a moment, Viper is about to have fully upgraded knights with attack and with armor, but also he's going to have the Lithuanian bonus working for him. And he's looking for the other relic and sees it here. There goes the light calf. I love it. Dark really, even with everything else, he doesn't want Viper to get the relics. 85 villagers versus 44. Dark just needs one more fight, and he's fine. And the quick walls from Viper make it so he only loses like 3 more villagers. That could have been devastating to him. Good save from Viper, and now Viper's in. So Dark's getting pikemen now. He's starting to make spearmen, but keep an eye on all the stats here, because Viper needs damage. 30 villagers behind. He was able to break through. And Viper's turn to kind of split up, and then Dark is now hitting Viper at the same time. So far, it feels like Dark has gotten the better of these engagements. 66 population for the Viper, 105 population for Dark. And his farms are extremely efficient. He's still got army here killing Viper. Viper has what feels like nothing here. And the idle time, the worker efficiency, everything's really bad. That said, he got this relic, and when he got this relic, he spotted villagers over here. That's not so good for Dark. That's a little sloppy, and Dark's still struggling to get the army numbers, though he's now making pikemen. Viper recognized, because he sees everything, right? He has a really good idea of where Dark's going to take resources now. So he's going to keep an eye on the wood. 73 villagers versus 42. Viper needs to keep his army alive. If he takes a fight like this, he can win that fight, right? Because he actually has more numbers, and the knights shred the pikemen. I said, even in 1v1, the knights will win. It's all about the long term with it. Viper will see that opportunity. Every fight from here on out needs to be a good fight for Viper, or he is 110% dead. Every fight has to be good. And honestly, needs monks for conversions once they're not getting relics, because I don't know if he needs to get the 5th relic, actually, because you don't get additional +1 for the 5th relic, only the 4th. So, strongest knights in the game in Castle Age right now for the Viper. He has 10 plus 6 with full armor. And Dark will know that he has a big lead based on the score here. And Viper figures this is as good as it's going to get. So he takes the fight. He dips below 20 military. Despite that, still takes a pretty good fight. And you're starting to see the KD now change a little. Pretty good fight for him. Dark, turn around and hit that one. Nice job. Nice job. Now Dark has more military. I say it all the time. If you have more military and more eco, it's game over, typically. You got more of those categories, more eco equals you could make even more military, and it should be over. Viper takes the fight. 10 plus 6 attack versus full armor and just +1 attack, but Viper has to fall back because of the pikemen. 105 pop versus 60 has been the constant. Dark looking to kill the snake. Dark with a castle here to protect his resources, which looks so good. Viper takes the fight, a fight he has to win. He has to win this fight or it's over. He has no TCs at home. His eco's awful. And guess what? The Knights are freaking owning. The Knights are freaking owning. Dark has got to be stressed out now. He's going to lose his monks. And I remember watching this, and I was like, there's still no way, right? Look, full on 1 TC, full open. No walls for Viper, nothing. He's just focused constantly on army production. And constantly on army movement, which is important here. You might think, why doesn't he wall? Why doesn't he do that? I think the more he moves around, the more he pressures, the more Dark could possibly overextend. Monk goes down. Pikeman goes down. Viper takes a good fight. Viper sees this fight. He says, okay. And now he knows to run away. And now watch the other side, guys. This is an art. Look. He sends in another group, right? So when you're... The benefit of being an all-inner, the guy who's going all-in 1 TC, is that you don't have to focus too much on your eco. But in this case, you do, because Dark has the presence of mind to also raid Viper at the same time. Not sure if Dark noticed this, though. Viper had to pull his knights back and a few monks to deal with this. And 84 Vils versus 47 right now. Just let me look at something real quick, because I'm curious. Total eco. Okay, that's what I thought. Yeah, just massive lead for Dark at the moment. Okay, returning to the game. We continue. Welcome to the people who just got to the stream. I'm seeing some nice messages in chat, but I'm going to focus on this one. Because Dark is still trying to secure his flanks, right? Still trying to figure out where Viper might go next. He's got quite a few pikemen over here. I feel like the second attack upgrade would be useful right now, because it would apply to his pikes and his knights, but this could be a good fight for Dark. Viper runs right through a bunch of pikemen, but oh, he gets the surrounds on them. And if these were any other knights, I think that that's still not great for Viper. But look at that. And at the same time, Dark comes into his eco, and at the same time, Dark takes out some monks, and at the same time, there was absolutely nothing else happening. I just assumed there was, and I was wrong. 81 villagers versus 46. Viper's KD is very, very good. But he's still so open to raids. And he still doesn't have more military. It's still pretty easy for Dark to spam more pikes. Viper's Knights here, taking out some houses. I won't worry Dark too much. It feels like even here, Dark could take a really good fight. I feel like with these numbers, Dark wins this fight. So Viper feels the need to do damage. He breaks in. They'd over-chopped over here. He breaks in on this side. And then here, Viper has to leave his gold. And Viper's just realized that he has to clear this to have any chance. He has to. They'll take the fight with the TC and with the units from Dark being slightly spread out. And then he makes it into the wood line at the exact same time. Look at the KD. Look at everything falling apart for Dark at the moment. Everything is falling apart for him. Viper's wide open. It's a 200 to 100 KD. Dark has done so much right in this game. Everything he's done in this game, I think, should result in a victory. He's going to send in more knights for raids. He's going to sit here on the gold. He's still reacting here with pikemen. He's still reacting here with monks and knights. Like, typically, I don't make you guys dizzy when I cast. But I imagine this is getting pretty close at this point. And so since some of the army was whittled down, and that's what Viper's done a good job at, is whittling down smaller groups, Viper can take the big fight now. And so Viper takes another good engagement. He'll clear this. It's now 80 pop for the Viper, 48 villagers, and it's 69 army, or sorry, eco for Dark. Yeah, army value really, it really brings you back to like how expensive a unit is. And in Viper's case, value isn't tacked on because of the relics. But army value normally tells you everything. And the thing about knights is knights can always outrun pikemen. They're still so open to the raids, man. But he's spreading out now. He's beginning to feel like this is maybe doable. He'll spread out over here. Dark has walled some of this in, which is great for him. Those are strong knights, though. Viper will pull back. He's got 36 knights. He simply has not been losing knights. There's so many weak ones. What would be great for him is to maybe heal up. I think Dark, there was a point where he probably should have researched a few more upgrades. And now it's like, I've been there. You feel the pressure, so you're thinking constant production and you don't think about the upgrades. But getting the upgrades would have helped, as we see Light Cav here from Dark. Probably just to snipe any monks that Viper has, because he knows that Viper's healing. And I think the healing has helped Viper a lot too, as he still hasn't broken through here. Also, he's going to wait with these knights. Those knights are still available, but this is the main fight. As Dark again, and he's got 33 farmers, 22 on gold. Dark again is going to push in and push Viper completely off of his gold. And Dark is also in Viper's woodline. What an incredible fight from Viper, but still, it just does not feel doable as he breaks through and Dark goes whoop right into the houses. Dark going up the hill, sensing the opportunity to go for the kill. But yet again, not the fight that he would want, because Viper mops it. Viper immediately runs away from the pikeman and the monk on this side. He'll look to get away. He needs that army alive. He does not want that army to get trapped. Still having to deal with some raids over here, but he's dealing with that. And more raids here from Dark, which is, again, perfect. Because, yeah, the fights haven't been great, but he's never allowing Viper to rest. Viper, again, has to run away from his eco. Let's see how Viper reacts. Obviously, he does react. Obviously, he'll lose Vils too. He now sends army forward. He thought about it with those knights, and nothing ever happened. He's waiting with these knights. Force reactions, and after you force reactions, force a reaction in another area. Both players have been doing that, and both players have done such a good job with that here. Dark sees the monks. Dark's going to get the monks. Here comes Viper, and Viper's going to group up his whole force here, guys. His whole force. I think he senses that Dark really needs wood. This group of knights have 61 kills. Not sure about the other knights. The other knights, well, not too many just yet. They seem fresh. This Viper's still behind by 40 Vils. Dark, I think you need to just chill for a second, my friend. Get an upgrade. He did get the final armor upgrade. Chill for a second and do not take this fight, right? Like, the only reason Viper's alive is because he's been finding the best possible fights in crazy scenarios. Don't ask me how he's found some of them. But I think for Dark, it's just dawned on him he should not be gifting a good battle to Viper. And he needs to run back and just wait it out a little bit. Wait till he's got like 60 pikemen or something, right? And Viper can't allow him time to rest. Another light cav comes in. Again, relentless pressure. And Viper's just hoping for good fights. Still at this stage, I know Viper's score is insane because of the KD, and I don't know if I've ever seen a game quite like this one. Viper should lose this game. Full-on pikeman should kill him because of the resources that Dark has, and he's going to add more barracks now. This is Dark's game to lose at this point. But this is the best fight Viper's going to get. Right? It's the best fight. It's only going to get worse because Dark is making more. And so Dark chews up a bunch of knights, but he also loses a bunch of pikemen in the process. He patrols in with more and more pikemen. He adds more farms. He adds more barracks. Viper, this group here, still waiting. He does have a fully healed group, and he's going to do the little swap here, right? You've got the weak ones going home to heal up. You've got the fresh ones coming in to take engagements. Oh, nope, never mind. He said, we're not weak, we're tough. And Viper says, okay, I got to take a fight. Constantly. Got to take a fight. He's making more pikes. I cannot allow him to take good engagements. Great micro from him, by the way. He did a good job pulling back there and even saving some of the weak ones. And I haven't been paying attention to how many hits it takes to take a pikeman, but it's not many, man. It's not many. And now Dark comes in again to hit Viper's eco. Dark still has a 30 Vil lead. Dark is down to 15 military. He's got more pikemen in queue. He just added so many barracks. Viper now losing more villagers. The audacity to not add any new town centers. Though, to be honest, I'm not sure he could have done... If he tried to boom out of 2 TCs, there's no way he would make this many knights. Viper still holding on here. I just, like... I look at Dark right now, and I just feel bad. Like, there's no way this should even be a question based on how this game was played. Viper's just played insane. And these knights get the hill. They're going to eat up the villagers, obviously. And if the pikemen need to defend this area, they need to patrol up the hill. And so you look at this now, and Viper's going to consider taking the engagements. No, he's going to run away. He's going to run away. But this other group is over here, and he's going to hit that gold. He backs away with this group. He now is still wondering where Dark is taking wood. Dark hasn't been on the left, and Dark just moved from here. So Viper's going to make it over here and kill villagers. Also has monks suddenly, immediately, on the hill to heal. So he can get another hill engagement, only he can get conversions, and he can get big hits. And watch the populations, guys. Watch the populations here. Dark has so much to react to right now. Dark goes for a few conversions. 96 pop for Dark, 80 pop for Viper. It's as close as ever. And Dark is having some real wood issues right now. It seems like he can't consistently make pikes. And Viper's taking just good enough trades for the pikeman to go down every time. And I think the important thing, again, is he heals his knights. Again, though, Dark's not finished. The teenager's got some fight. Here he comes with 4 knights. Here he comes with 3 knights. He's not allowing Viper to rest. Even though Viper's raiding him all the time, he's not allowing Viper to rest. And he's got castles, man. He's got TCs to protect himself. But he's, again, streaming up the hill. He's thinking that Viper's going to be distracted so he can take good fights. But Viper just has knights everywhere. As more villagers go down for Viper. This is more than a 2-to-1 KD. Still Dark checking the gold because he knows that Viper's been making a lot of knights, which costs a lot of gold. And I'm not sure about this. Looks like Dark realized that was a mistake. He will try and split up and run away now. Incredible, man. Incredible. For now for Dark, he's taken one too many fights, which have lowered his numbers, and he just needs to wait. And I think that was a thing for him earlier as well. Like, just wait a little bit longer. But when you're up against Viper and he's forcing the issue constantly, it always makes you feel like you gotta patrol your units in there, you know? You don't want to give Viper the freedom to move around. As I say that, Viper with more knights over here. Viper within Dark's eco. One thing's got to give. Viper will take this fight. It is very possible that Dark will react in 2 places, but not 3. In fact, you do see the reaction here. You see the fight here. Viper wins the fight. Dark doesn't react to this in time. He now realizes, as he loses more villagers, and Viper is still alive. And still, I don't know about well, but he still has a chance here. Okay, these knights will move around. Constant army movement will take that villager and leave. Thank you very much. This army here just waiting for a monk probably to heal up. 479 kills from a player who's never been above 65 villagers. That is not a stat that should exist. More knights. Gonna take that. Cool. I'm just gonna keep running. Thank you very much. Hey, by the way, you're probably looking for wood. I'm going to come in with your knights. Thank you very much. Dark is meanwhile massing pikes. And more knights get in here. Viper has 4 armies currently. 4 armies. And he is never allowing Dark to rest. He said, thanks for the overchop. Appreciate it. Let's run in with these knights. They're going to get some kills here. That's pretty cool. Then Dark runs forward. He says, let's get conversions. Let's kill this. That's pretty cool. And suddenly, Viper has the population lead. The eco difference is about 10. He, of course, has all 4 of those relics. He, of course, is using knights to kill pikemen. Literally everywhere. There's nowhere Dark can go where he is safe. The monk goes down after trying to get a conversion or getting a conversion. Viper sees it all. Like, I think you could see the direction this game is going right now. And I cannot believe that Viper had any chance to get to this point. I told him that this was entertaining watch, but also how dare you? Because this is just disgusting. Like, he was dead 5 times. Like, Dark did so much. And he continues to produce knights, as he should. It's been constant production of knights, constant production of monks, constant conversions, healing, and attacks. And for Dark, poor Dark. He's probably sitting here thinking the same. Like, my guess is he's like, how does he have the eco for this? And then later on, if he watches the wreck, he's just going to realize it was down to Viper's amazing fights. And somehow on 1 TC, Viper evened it out against 3. But 45 knights now. 6,000 army value for Viper. And, you know, there's some areas to avoid maybe, like the pikemen and the monks in the castle here. But, yeah, forget Imp. Imp gives nothing to either player here. But especially in Viper's position, when you have the lead, just make more knights. Knights is what got you into this position. Knights are what's going to help you win in this position. And it's not like Dark didn't have protection. He went stone walls, he went town centers, and he went castle. It's wild, man. And Dark doesn't want to accept it at this point. He's really struggling to get pikeman numbers. I wish games could be replayed, right? Like, I wish, as we have a raid here from Dark, I think those knights might have been sitting there for a while. Finally, they pay off. But, like, I really wish that we could have seen this game replayed from, like, the 30th minute. and just see what Dark would have approached differently. I think he would have sat back more. He was almost too active with some of those fights. Took one too many engagements. Just needed to chill, sit back. But I can also understand why you wouldn't, because you're ahead. You want to stay ahead. You want to take trades. As Viper with 52 knights, 42 of which on our screen will take the fight. He's still getting some kills over here, and Dark knows he will lose the fight. He calls the GG. This is like, and it's a shame we don't have like 20,000 people here live watching it, and it's a shame this won't get 1 million views. But this is one of the most audacious, disgusting wins I have seen in a very long time. I seriously cannot believe this was possible. Dark played so well. So well. Someone just mentioned Cav raids in chat. Dark raided multiple times. He raided with Cav, and he raided with Knights. And typically, if you have more eco, you raid their eco if they're open. You then have more villagers at home. You then make more military. You take better fights. Because of Lithuanians and because of the Knights being as strong as they are, Viper was able to take good enough fights 10 times in a row, 20 times in a row to somehow have this even out. Disgusting. Viper not saying GG? Nah, I'm sure he said GG. It's a recorded game. It doesn't store it after the game ends. Oh, my God. For me, this... Some people look at things in life and they gain inspiration from it, right? So there might be some person, I don't know where, let's say Kansas, and that person in Kansas is like, Viper showed me that you can fight back. When you're down and out in life, you could get the figurative relics and fight back. And you can do anything. That's what this showed me as he goes out into his fields or whatever goes on in Kansas. I'll tell you this, though. For me, that tells me you have no shot. Continue to cast and continue to be entertaining. Top 100's nothing. Dark played so much better than I could have ever played to get into his leading position, but then he played way better. Way better than so many players would with the constant raids, the monks, and the pikemen, and still lost. So the message that this tells me is just give up, truthfully. So I think I'm going to no longer try. That's where I stand after this. That was nuts, man. Look at this. Here's the KD for you. 557 kills, 243 losses, 14 conversions. I really wish Capture Age had a stat that would show the amount of healing. I think healing would be a really interesting stat because he was constantly converting but also healing his knights, which I think went a long way. The fights were just good enough where he would escape with his numbers but not with his HP, and then he would heal it up. There's the resources collected. Apologies if this doesn't make a ton of sense for you. Capture Age just updated. It looks a little different here. But yeah, enjoy the data if you like data. You can see Dark had 17,000 more total resources collected. 17,000 more resources collected. In a 1v1. The opponent had 1 TC. He was getting raided. Viper collected 4,000 of those resources from the relics. That obviously helped. The attack was crucial, but the gold was crucial as well. Here's the timeline. There's society if you're curious. Dark had a total of 224 villagers in that game. He ended the game with 75. Viper had a total of 130 villagers in total, but ended with 62. I think, just to point out where Dark could have played a little better in this game, as you can see, the constant military high for Viper. I honestly think right around, let's see. No, not here. Okay, here. This is a good example of it. I mean, there were a few moments, right? You literally just camp. Say, I'm Fat Slob now, and I'm not going to attack, and you just camp for like 3 minutes. Now, he was exposed out here, right? The way he walled meant that he had to get out, which was a big, awkward problem for him, which is probably why he wanted army out there. But, maybe even here. Yeah, here. I think if you just wait before you take any fights, like this fight, right? You don't take it. The fight that comes after that, you don't take it. You beat Viper. So, wow. KB Gaming says, why let Viper get away with relics when you know they have bonus? What do you mean, man? He killed, 3 monks over here. He was unlucky not to get this, I think, because he was in a fight. The big thing is, Viper was dictating the pace of the game the whole time. And that's what's crazy, is that Viper never sat back, right? He never set back, and so it was hard for Dark to focus on that. Like, as you can see, Viper's forcing fights here. Dark has to react, and Viper's sneaking away with the relics the whole time. So I really think, and yeah, Dark has beaten Viper before. Dark is a great player. Dark has the talent to beat him and has beat him before, but like, a few small things, mainly coming down to the fights, is what lost that for Dark, but that was just incredible. I'm disgusted. I'm impressed. I'm in love. I have hatred in my heart. Just a beastly game.